Hello friends, welcome back. So today we are going to talk about EFT, which stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques. As you can see, today I'm not alone, so I have with me Miss Angie Mifsud. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
For those who don't know, Angie is an Energy Psychology Practitioner based in Malta. So if this is something you would be interested in, keep watching and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. So as I said, Angie is an Energy Psychology Practitioner, which from what I understand it includes an array of practices including EFT. We are going to use the term tapping, which basically means the same thing, okay? Because it's a more everyday term. So just as an introduction, Angie, what is Energy Psychology? And maybe you can give a background about yourself and how you came about doing this.
Okay, so energy psychology is an array of energy techniques marrying Western psychology with Eastern energy psychology. So basically, we're bringing up traumatic events or anxiety and stressful events. So a trauma would be related to the past and stress and anxiety about the future. And then we couple those feelings, so we would tune in to the feelings in our bodies. And then we couple that with a relaxation technique or an energy release technique. So the main component of energy psychology is, as you said, emotional freedom techniques, or EFT, tapping for short. And it involves, it's taken from Acupuncture, and it involves gently tapping on certain points in the body, which are the main energy meridian channels. So by coupling these uncomfortable, unsafe feelings in the body with this gentle tapping, which has the same effect as inserting needles, the energy gets released there and then, and the results are permanent.
Okay.
So how did I come about to be a practitioner? So my journey started in 2014, where I was really at a bottom point in my life. So I was in an abusive marriage, infertility issues, and sleeping problems, and massive social anxiety. And I was at the point where I was having also suicidal thoughts, and I'm like, either I'm going to make a change or that's it. And then after trying hypnosis, it gave me tremendous benefits, but the results didn't really stick.
Okay.
And then I discovered EFT, and the results were amazing. So now today I'm out of this abusive marriage, and I became pregnant naturally, and I have a 1-year-old beautiful baby boy.
Beautiful.
You know? So now my journey, it benefited me so much that I want to help others. So I became a practitioner myself. And I help clients who are struggling with unwanted relationship patterns. So I help them to break free from these patterns and to move forward towards being fine with or without a relationship, and leaving the door open to welcome the right relationship in your life. When we are feeling anxious and unsafe, what's happening, we're taken out of the present moment. So we're either going into the past, either maybe it could be something our parents said, or we experienced bullying in school. That was the case for me. And yes, these anxieties get triggered, and they're telling you that you're not safe. So they're taking you out of the present moment. The same thing when you're thinking about something coming in the future. So let's say you have to speak at an event, or you're going to a party where there are people you're not comfortable with. You start feeling anxieties, and again, they're not about the now, they are about something coming up in the future.
Okay.
So again,
Triggered by something that happened in the past.
Exactly.
Yes.
Very good. Yes, because you will have a memory of something. Maybe you were humiliated or embarrassed in the past, and your mind is bringing that up, telling you, listen, careful, because that happened to you, so it's not safe to go there.
Okay.
But the truth is that what happened in the past is in the past, and we can create the future we want from the present moment.
Yes.
So these energy techniques, be it EFT or whatever energy technique, they help us to come back into the present moment, to realize that everything is fine in the here and now, And from
everything
this
is possible.
current state, exactly, we can create the future we want.
Yes.
And yes, there is the science behind it, but then that I think we will discuss later on.
So basically these practices help us to reduce and in some cases even release completely
Yes.
some anxieties or stress.
Yes.
We hear about these two words a lot. We all experience it, so we all know how it feels. But what is stress? What is anxiety? Where do they come from? What is happening to our brain, our body when we are stressed?
Stress and anxiety response, as we know, is something which we have inherited from our ancestors. So in the past, when we were living as more primal creatures, we were under threat all the time. So it could have been that a lion came to attack, or a tiger, whatever. So our systems have incorporated this system to keep us safe, which is most commonly known as the fight, flight, or freeze response. So our bodies switch into a state where either we are prepared to fight, or to run away, or to simply freeze and play dead. In fact, there is a book called Waking the Tiger where they did some research. They observed animals in the wild, and they've seen this response. Especially sometimes animals do play dead. We have inherited this response. But we are not really so much under threat anymore in this society. And even worse is that...
No lion is coming, thank God.
No, we are in a park, but no, so far I don't
but
see.
I know what you mean. Yes.
So most of the threats are perceived threats. Mm-hmm. They're not even real. They're coming, as you said, from the past. And the problem is that we as humans, we have learned to get out of our bodies and live in our heads, which is why we don't process trauma fully.
Yes.
The animals, when they were observed in the wild, they were, what they do, when they observed this deer which was playing the freeze response, it just stayed for 20 minutes. It shook it off, and then it carried on as nothing happened. Wow. The problem with us humans, we don't do that. We stay in our heads, we ruminate, and we obsess about the problem, and then the problem stays there for years and years and years.
We don't shake it off,
whereas,
we don't tackle it.
Whereas if we just take a moment to release the energy and the trauma through the body, it will be solved in, again, they say it takes an average of just 20 minutes, which is very short. Now, in scientific terms, what happens in our bodies, our autonomous nervous system is divided into two parts. We have the, when we are in a relaxed state, as we are now, we are in the parasympathetic response. Okay. That means that the blood is flowing normally, oxygen is flowing normally to the brain and vital organs, so our digestion is better, our reproductive function is better, and we are just relaxed and at ease. Then when the stress response or fight, flight, freeze response gets triggered, we are entering the sympathetic nervous system. So what happens then? So the body prepares for attack, and the blood moves away from the brain and the vital organs to our limbs to prepare to attack or to flee or to stay grounded and freeze. Okay, but what happens then? Then the blood is moving away from the brain, so we can't think straight. Our digestion is impaired as well, and also the cortisol, which is released, the stress hormone. It also impairs digestion as well. So that is why also when people are in a chronic state of stress and anxiety, they tend to have more weight gain, or they just cannot lose the weight as well. This I can say from my own experience. When I was more relaxed, I just dropped 7 kilos in a month, just like without even trying. So yes, when obviously our digestive system is impacted, it also affects weight loss, and it also impacts our reproductive function. That is also the reason I was not getting pregnant, because also I was in a chronic stress. So Again, the problem is it's okay to enter the sympathetic phase if you are really under attack. For example, if a fire, we don't want to shut off the system because it's there to protect us.
Exactly.
So it's not. So I see a lot of people saying, "I suffer from stress and anxiety." It's not something you suffer from. So what we need to do, we need to welcome it because it's there to protect us. The problem is that if we are in a chronic state of stress and anxiety, so we want to enter into this state if it's needed. So if there's a fire, if we are in a real danger, exactly. So that system is needed, but it's needed only when there is a real threat and not a perceived threat.
Okay, and this is very interesting to me because, as I was saying before, sometimes when you learn something, then it becomes so simple, but you would never have thought it this way, that if you, for example, are feeling physical or emotional pain or suffering through the body, it only makes sense to release it through the body. That I never thought of it this way too. We always tend to look outside, whereas we have the power inside. Our bodies are powerful enough to heal.
Definitely. And that is why, as you rightly said, in fact, science has shown that 2/3 of diseases have an emotional component to it, and only 1/3 of the disease is physical. So even a person who had a car crash and broke his or her leg, by learning to release the emotional side, it facilitates actually the physical healing, because you are removing all the threats and you're just allowing the body to heal naturally as it's supposed to do. We need to put our body into the state to promote healing as much as possible. So in fact,
it can be an addition to other
in fact, around the world you have what we know as centers for integrative medicine. In the US and Canada, and even locally there are centers like this. So you would find, even locally, I'm sure you find clinics where you would find the GP and the specialist, but you would find also hypnotherapy and acupuncture in the same center.
Okay,
so
as a holistic approach. Okay, how do you tell?
Okay, so first of all, we need to focus on the problem. So what is the problem? We're feeling stressed, anxious about what?
Okay.
And it helps also to write it down if you wish. And then we notice where we feel it in our bodies. So it could be a tension in the chest, a knot in the stomach is very common, a lump in the throat if it's about speaking. And we give it also a number called the subjective units of distress.
Okay, yes.
A number between 0 and 10. 0 is the least intense and 10 is the most intense. So we do this because then we want to measure the before and after. And if you're not sure what the number is, come with the first thing that comes to mind. Normally it is the right one.
So from what I am understanding, it's very important to be very detailed about what you are feeling.
Yes. EFT, there are lots of energy practices which are general and they focus on mostly feelings, but with EFT it's important to be specific.
Okay, so where are you locate exactly?
It does work if you're not, but if you are specific, it's going to be more effective and the results on that problem will be permanent.
So how do you do it?
It's okay, so I will demonstrate. So what we need to do, we are first going to do what we call is a setup statement. So the first point is the side of the hand, also known as the karate chop point. And what we do, we use a setup statement for 3 times. We do this so that we stay focused on the problem and remain specific, because sometimes when you are overwhelmed, especially, you can wander on different issues. It happens to all of us.
So it's important to stay focused,
on the problem. Yes. And the second is also to deal with what we know as psychological reversal or secondary gain, because believe it or not, we have advantages. So as we said before, the anxiety and stress is there to keep us safe. So we definitely have reasons why we should hold on to the problem.
Okay.
And the setup statement helps to address that as well. And also we're going to couple the unpleasant, unwanted feeling with a pleasant statement, which is I deeply and completely love and accept myself, and that is taken from cognitive behavioral therapy.
Okay. Is this the only affirmation you can use? I
No,
know some
that's a
people
very
have
good
a
question.
personal affirmations that they use. Can they use that?
That's a very good question. Yes, you can change the affirmation. Actually, it's better to do that.
Okay.
Because if you don't really resonate with what you're saying, it won't be as effective. In fact, for example, there is the choices method. She says, I choose to love and accept myself, or I choose to feel at calm and peace in my body right now. That's also fine.
Okay.
Yes. So then we're going to say, even though I have this problem,
Even though I have this problem,
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself. So while tapping, you speak about the problem,
Exactly.
and then say this affirmation right
I
after.
have a knot in my stomach. I'm feeling fear about an upcoming event, or I am disturbed by what my friend said to me the other day, whatever it is. And then we do this 3 times. Okay?
3 times on this
3 times.
on this point.
So we do this statement, even though I have this problem, I deeply, completely accept myself, for 3 times.
Okay.
Then we move on to the points. So these are points situated on the face and body. And so why tapping and why these points? So these points are taken from acupuncture, and these are energy meridians in the body. So these are points where the energy can flow through with the least resistance.
So the points are
the
here
points are, we
first.
started with the karate chop, and then we're moving to the eyebrow point, we call it. So it is here, and you just tap here 6 or 7 times.
Okay.
And it can be with, in fact, Trizian is tapping with one hand.
Yes, because I saw a lot of videos with one hand. To me, it feels more comfortable, but you can.
It's a very forgiving technique. So if you tap 10 times instead of 7, if you tap with one hand or 2 hands, it doesn't matter. It just works anyway.
Okay, it's important to tap on all points, I think. But
Doing the sequence is better.
Yes.
So, and the sequence is so simple that I mean, I just do it automatically. It's.
I think the secret is more in what you say and to tap on the feet.
How specific
To
you
be-
are is
yes,
is the most important.
To be tuned with your feelings.
Exactly,
Yes,
and it's important as well. So if you find that the shift isn't happening as well, you have to address always the resistance. So if there is resistance to letting go of the problem, tap
You
on
tap
that
on
too.
that.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly. Because if you don't, not only you don't solve the problem, but the problem tends to persist. Like as Carl Jung says, what you resist persists. And the next point is the side of the eye here. And they found that tapping has the same effect as inserting needles. So you don't even have to do anything like that. If you don't like it, just tap. Next point is under the eye. You just tap here. So always find the bone under the eye. Okay. Next point is the upper lip. Here. Good. And then the chin point. Good. And then we find the collarbone point, where you find the bony part here. You just go down a bit and you find the hollow part here. And then you just move a bit to the side and you just tap here. So it's like the hollow part between the collarbone and the beginning of the rib cage. Just tap here. Good. And the next point is the brow point or the underarm point. just find where the bra is for the ladies, and for the men it's just under the arm. And the last point is the top of the head. This is the governing meridian. Just tap here. It looks a bit silly, like a monkey, but yeah.
So yes, I think we are just scratching the surface with this topic. It's a very broad subject, so we will definitely do some future videos. Would you like to add anything about EFT or tapping in general?
Well, one thing I'd like to add is that what is tapping used for?
Yes.
Basically, tapping can be used for anything. So it works very well on anxiety, on PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. It also works very well on autoimmune disorders such as fibromyalgia. And it also can be used to change limiting beliefs which are keeping you stuck. And also in setting goals. So most of the time it's not about reaching a goal, but to eliminate the blocks which are in the way.
Yes.
And EFT is great for that.
Okay.
On the other hand, EFT can work on depression, but it depends whether it's mild depression or a severe depression. I would recommend EFT on mild depression only. And then or else if the person is on medication, it can complement the therapy the person is already receiving.
Yes. So yes, just to add to this point, it would be interesting even for you if you'd like to share any specific topic or situation you would like maybe Angie to address in future videos. Maybe we can do a specific EFT video on a specific topic. If you would like, I mean, this is a safe space, as I always say, so you are not going to be judged here, and you can say anonymous if you'd like, so there is no pressure in that. And you can actually benefit by a free tapping by a professional, and you can tap with us during that video as well. So Angie, thank you for choosing this channel as your vessel.
Oh, pleasure. Pleasure is all mine. Thank you for having me.
So that's it for now. Thank you for watching till the end. I will leave all the links of Angie in the description box below, so you can find ways to connect with her.
Yes, feel free to contact me either on Facebook or through my website. I offer a free consultation, so I can see where you're at and where you'd like to be, and we can assess together how we can work together. Also, when you contact me, I have a free gift. I have a book called The Relationship Breakup Survivor's Guide. So it shares 6 steps where you move from dealing with a difficult major breakup to seeing this as a growth experience. And I also share some other energy healing practices which you can do at home.
Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I post any videos or any future videos with Angie, and subscribe to my channel to help me create more content like this. Take care, bye, and see you next time.